explaining the most bizarre piano etude of the 19th century by Piano Curio.
Some say it sounds like 8-bit video game music. Others hear hints of Ravel or something by a minimalist like Glass or Reich. But this piano etude wasn't even close to being written in the 20th century. It was first published in France in 1840 by a former Paris Conservatoire student turned rising star. It appeared tucked away at the very end of volume 2 of this musical textbook titled Encyclopedia of the Pianist Composer, in which the Conservatoire's piano professor Joseph Zimmermann commissioned 3 supplemental piano etudes by his top pupils. Ravina contributed a bravura study in broken chords, while Prudhon offered one in arpeggios.
Beautiful stuff, yeah.
But then there was Alcan's. His piece was brutally percussive, obsessive, mechanical, and it might just be the most bizarre etude of the 19th century. Pianist Mark Weiner, the first person to commercially record this etude, calls it by far the most striking in the whole book, describing it as a bruising study in chord playing that is so screamingly outrageous that it would feel more at home at an Ibiza rave than a Paris salon.
Interesting.
What exactly makes this music sound so out of place? At the center of its design is a rhythmic figure that resembles a modified drum rudiment called a paradiddle. Traditional paradiddles have a stroke pattern of right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. But Alcan's version shifts the doubled note to the front. This rhythm drives the piece forward with relentless energy throughout, significantly testing the pianist's endurance. What's even more special about this rhythm, though, is how Alcan used it to create an organic melody, whereas the more traditional etudes by Ravina and Prudhon clearly separated the melody from the accompaniment. Alcan's begins more like a harmonic progression with a vague melodic profile. But then he does something special, shaping a clear melody between the two hands while somehow giving the illusion of a single voice.
That is fast.
These percussive, full-fisted chords form an impossibly elegant, almost pop-like tune that sounds like nothing else of its time. But there's another layer to this etude's strange appeal. Listen to the right hand and see if you can hear it. The accent pattern of the driving rhythm resembles a tresillo, a 3-note syncopation common in Afro-Caribbean and Spanish music, and a staple in jazz and pop genres today. Now, this could simply be an eccentric
This is way deeper than my understanding.
Strange musicality, but it's worth mentioning that in 1834, he became close friends with one Santiago de Masarnau, a Spanish composer whose correspondence with Alcan spanned 4 decades. Could Masarnau have introduced Alcan to Iberian rhythmic ideas like the tresillo? Maybe. We know that Alcan later wrote at least 2 Basque-inspired dances called zortzikos, and he played with some asymmetrical meters in various impromptus. Intentional or not, Alcan's etude projects an exotic rhythmic profile that sets it sharply in relief from the music of his immediate environment.
So what I'm getting is like, an etude is not an actual release song. It was, it was really something that wasn't even meant to like later be recorded, I guess. I mean, you wouldn't even know about the way we recorded stuff later, but yeah. So he made such a great song, but it wasn't even for like commercial or like even public playing or anything.
One of the most
That's pretty
common
crazy.
reactions to this etude is astonished disbelief. Many listeners on YouTube describe it as ahead of its time in some way. One commenter drew comparisons to Alcan's later etude opus 35 number 12 and another to the beginning of Ravel's Ondine. Others go further, likening its inexhaustible energy and machine-like repetition to 8-bit video game music. And I agree with this one in particular.
Yeah, I mean, if you put it like this, absolutely.
For others, the repeated E at the beginning of
A musical exercise meant to be more gratifying for students to play than just basic repetitive exercise. Okay, okay. Got it.
the Etude brings to mind Moskovsky's Rhapsody Espagnole, and of course the notorious meme piece, Rush E.
Let's go.
A few have even mentioned minimalists like Philip Glass and Steve Reich, whose phase works have striking resemblances to Alcon's repetitive rhythmic figuration. Clearly, Alcon struck an unusually resonant chord, or in this case, about 1,500 of them by my rough math. Whereas many 19th century etudes tried to address a known technical problem, Alcon's introduced a new one. The fact that it sounds so much like music written over a century later is a testament to his radical imagination. Alcon pushed rhythm to the foreground, let repetition shape the music, and blurred the line between melody and mechanics. The result was a piece that still sounds jarring to 21st century ears. And to a conservatoire student in 1840, perhaps it was absolutely terrifying. So was this the most bizarre piano etude of the 19th century? It certainly has my vote, but let me know in the comments if there are any other contenders that I should know about.
Anyway, it's an exercise, but this guy's a song. Got it. It is very playful. The speed too, like, it's just this endless speed. You must be sweating playing this. You can definitely picture the way this would feel like, yeah, like some boss fight soundtrack in some old game, yeah? Something musical instead of doing a boring exercise. Got it, got it. Oh, there's the chill part. Quite nice. I like the way it was slowly kind of was dying. First part is first part of the boss fight, then you had like the sad part when the boss tells his backstory, and nice face too. No idea to read sheet music, but it's interesting. A lot of it is a line, and then at the bottom you've got one that's like just kind of getting out of the line. That's nice. Okay, well, it is definitely very fun to listen to. You can just imagine the insane speed and crispiness that you have to play this. Um, Very fun, very unique. I can't say I'm like used enough to listen to classical music to, really tell how much of the song back then felt modern or not, right? By today's standards, right? I can't really, tell that myself because yeah, I just haven't listened to much classical music outside of like the stuff that is always played in movies or trailers, right? Um, but yeah, no, this is like pretty fun to listen to. Yeah, generally a good time. So interesting video, an interesting piece.